Simon, a lot on the go. Let's start with the rugby. It's going to be a big one, and with 2016 and the horror of 2016 for our rugby, how are things looking?
I don't know. And if you ask any Springbok supporter, I don't think they know either. Alistair Coetzee has made some bold selections for this French match. We're not too sure what kind of a French team is coming, because normally for these mid-year tours, especially if there's other big stuff going on, they would send second stringers and the like, and also the fact that the French leagues have been in overdrive. So it depends, but we're normally quite handy at home, and I suppose if you're looking at a positive, we start the series off on the Highvelds and Loftus, and that's not a bad ground for the Springboks. Even a disorientated Springbok team with a new captain and a new back three, and critical pairings where they're debutants, and Eben Etzebeth playing with a new partner. All very brave moves. They could pay off, they could not pay off. We'll have to see.
Against a very sort of unknown French side. Well, that's what everybody's saying.
It is an unknown French side, but the point of the Springboks right now is they're just going to have to beat everyone, and however the win comes. No one's interested in did they win beautifully or was it a workmanlike. It's just win. That's it. That's what you got to do. And Pretoria might just be the place where Alistair can start off the year, and it's going to be another heavy year for him. On a positive note, and that's what we're hoping. And that, of course, is going to set the tone for all South Africans for the rest of the weekend, because it's quite it's an interesting weekend as well. Okay,
another sort of iffy situation is Bafana versus Nigeria. Stuart Baxter's second tenure at the helm, but iffy, as I say.
Yes, no, he's got it all to do. An away match against Nigeria in a place called Uyo. It's nothing adds up to this being a comfortable first outing for him. The benefits are he's had the team for a little bit. The PSL wrapped up a while back, so he had a few extra days than he would normally with the guys to see how they were doing. And when they did depart for Nigeria, they were in good spirits, and there wasn't any big injuries to speak of at all. So from that perspective, and also the other thing is, what's interesting about Bafana, it doesn't matter who the coach is. When they put in an uncomfortable situation, like going for one of these away days, they generally tend to front up. And if they could pull off a draw, that's perfect. That'll help immensely, because Baxter, obviously, he wanted the job. Why? Who knows? It's such a pressurized job. He's got to qualify for 2 tournaments. This one's for an AFCON qualifier. He's also got World Cup qualifiers coming up. And there's so much at stake, and that's chapter 2 of this quite tentative weekend for South African sports fans.
Yeah, and the next chapter, which is also tentative and a bit scary looking, is the Proteas.
Yes.
I mean, they have every opportunity to qualify for the semis, and I think I was speaking about this with Tabiso last Friday. It's just, that kind of anticipation of, are the Proteas going to do something? They should do something, and then when they hit these big tournaments, they just crumble. Yeah,
no, it was all primed for them. I mean, number one team in the world, best batsman, best bowler in the world, going into a one-day international tournament, and then this is what happens. And they just weren't good enough against Pakistan, and it doesn't matter what was going to happen with the weather. They weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Luckily, out of the blue, Sri Lanka pull off a miracle against India, and it wasn't a last gasp thing. I mean, they really did play very well against India.
Yeah.
Now we have to do that. On Sunday we have to do that, and if we don't do that, that's it. That's the tournament done for us. That's another ODI tournament done for us. And unfortunately, it's a good group of players that are going to get a lot of stick when they get home. And that's just what it's like to be a Protea right now. But if they can beat India, then, the situation gets worse, because then they have to go and face either England or Australia, if Australia qualifies. And but they need to beat India. And at least now they've got it all to do, because that group is wide open. Whoever wants it gets it. And it's probably the best position to be in.
Yeah.
So yeah, chapter 3 from a South African sports perspective. It could be in a great weekend, or it could go very, very wrong.
Well, I hope it doesn't.
We all do.
Simon, thank you so much for that. We've run out of time, but I see here we've also could have looked at the French Open finals this weekend, but that will maybe well, we've got Wimbledon coming up next month, so there's still lots of tennis to talk about. But Simon, thanks so much. Simon Burke with us, going through a very interesting sporting weekend from a South African perspective. Lots to look forward to. Here's wishing them all the best of luck. All our 3 major teams in action this weekend.